Michael and Nicole with the Smith Farm Co-op. Today we are making our yearly batch of pickles. A lot of people have asked how we do this. It's not as overwhelming as it seems, although we do have 50 pounds of cucumbers to go through. We won't make y'all sit there and go through all 50 pounds with us, but here is the basic ingredients that you need. We use the Ball bread and butter pickle crumble recipe. Yeah. I'm not really sure what they call it. You need vinegar. We use the Walmart brand. You don't need anything super fancy. The only thing that's super important is that you have to make sure that it says 5% acidity. Anything that is less than that or more than that is not gonna work, and your pickles will sour or explode or just not set right. You need sugar, a lot of sugar. That's what makes them taste good though. And you need mason jars. You can use whatever size you want. This size works the best for us.
This is the 32 ounce.
We typically go through this a week with our kids, especially during school time, because they love to take these to school for lunch. You'll also need the vinegar for your rims when you fill them up. We'll get there, but you'll need to wipe your rims with vinegar before you put your lids and toppers on. And
you'll need cucumbers.
Cucumbers. And a really, really big pot. The bigger the pot, the easier it is, the less batches you have to do. We're gonna start out with a double batch first, just because I don't like to get too far in over my head too quickly. Michael is going to cut our cucumbers for us. You want them 1/2 inch at the thickest, but you do want to make sure that you cut the ends off. The ends of your cucumbers don't taste good as pickles, but that's about the right thickness, pretty much what you would buy in a store. We did spears last year. They worked. They weren't very crispy. I don't know why, but my kids asked for pickle chips this time, so that's what we're gonna make. You can actually
fit more in with the chips versus spears.
So, but they like the chips better. So that's what we are gonna start making.
Now you can do it the old-fashioned way, cut it like me, or you can use a mandolin, whichever you choose, whichever is easiest and doesn't cost you as much money.
Yes.
So,
bear with us. We're gonna
start cutting these up and
cut. We'll come back and we'll show you how we pack the jars, and then we will make a bunch of the pickling juice to go inside, and we'll show you filling them up and what you need to do from there. So we'll be right back. While he is cutting the pickles, we want to share our weekly Bible verse with you. We are a Christian-based family homestead. So this week's Bible verse is 1 Corinthians 10:31.
So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God.
So we decided to bust out the mandolin. Normally we do cut them by hand, but with 50 pounds of cucumbers, we really need to start.
A lot easier.
We need to start moving, otherwise we're gonna be here all day. While he is cutting all of the cucumbers, I'm gonna start packing, so that way when the next step will be making the pickle juice, we can quickly pour and get them sealed. So you wanna make sure that you take all of your lids off and kind of stack them to the side. These are clean, sterilized jars. That's really important, especially when you're putting something new in there. You just want to make sure that you are not contaminating anything that you're about to feed your family. But you just fill it up. It's super easy. You want to use every little bit of space possible. The pickles kind of shrink as they cure. So what seems like overfill is actually gonna, you'll be surprised how much shrinkage there is. That's inappropriate. It's funny, but inappropriate.
And all of these tops that we're not using, we have chickens and goats. They're not going to waste at all. We try to use every bit of food that God has given us to either feed our family or to feed our animals.
Which end up feeding our family at some point.
So.
All right, so that looks like it's full, but there's actually a lot more space. I'm just really going to pack these cucumbers in there. Even just putting the hot liquid on them, they will get soft pretty quick. And you'll be able to get a lot more in there than you think you can. So we're just going to be cutting and packing. We'll see you guys back in a few brief seconds. For y'all, at least. Okay, so we have about 25 pounds of the 50 pounds of cucumbers that we have for pickles, which I know it sounds like a lot, but when I tell you these are the best pickles, they're the best pickles. We go through so many pickles between my kids and my husband and myself, and then
at
random
parties.
Cookouts and parties. Everybody like will devour these pickles so quick. There's lots of different brands and mixes that you can get. There's Miss Wages, there's some homemade stuff. The Ball brand is our favorite. It's just what my family prefers. It works out the easiest. It's the quickest to make. It's pretty foolproof. All you are gonna need is the mix. You need that 5% acidity, vinegar, and you need sugar.
Lots of sugar.
Lots of sugar. And it's pretty much even amounts of sugar to vinegar, and you're gonna mix it on the stove. Just make sure it's really incorporated well, and then you will need one of these. If you don't have one of these and you try to fill these mason jars,
it's gonna be a pain.
It's a mess. And I don't always wear an apron when I'm cooking stuff, but when I'm canning, I do, because this stuff is sticky and it's super, super hot. And even though we're super careful, it's still gonna go everywhere every now and again. And then the skewer, this is super, super important. Even though you've packed these really tight to get all the liquid in there, you still need to go around all of the sides to get all of the air pockets out. And you can probably fit in another 1/4 cup after you do that of the liquid, once you just get that all out. But let's go ahead and
join us over at the stove.
Get everything mixed up and going for the next step. All right, so we have our big pot, which is probably overkill for this batch, but we're just doing a double batch this time. With the other ones, we'll probably do a triple or quadruple batch just to get it done. But you'll want to go ahead and get it on high. Like I said, it's going to be even amounts of vinegar to your sugar. I like this pot because it's so deep. Nothing splashes and nothing is worse than hot vinegar smell. Alright. This measuring cup only holds 2 cups, so we gotta put a little extra vinegar in there. Going to put in our magic mix, and we are just going to stir, and we're going to let this all incorporate, the sugar melt down and get it to a good rolling boil, and that's when we're going to add it to our jars. Okay, so all of the sugar has melted into the vinegar and the rest of the mix has completely dissolved, other than these little seeds. Those are the flavor seeds. It's boiling really well. We just want to make it boil for maybe a minute or two. It's going to be super, super hot, and then we're going to be moving over into the jars really quickly. When we put it in the jars, we're going to fill it up. We're going to get all of that air out. We're going to rim the tops with a paper towel that has vinegar on it. Quickly put the lids on and seal them fingertip tight. That doesn't mean like crank it on until you can't crank it anymore. You want to put it on so it's on, and then maybe a little bit more. All right, now that this is boiling really, really good, I'm gonna turn it down just so it's not boiling smack in my face. And we are gonna start very quickly filling these, wiping the rims after we get all of the air out of the sides. And we're gonna put the lids on them. This is the part where you have to be very, very careful. It's very hot, very sticky, and you can burn yourself really easy. But you also have to move really fast in order to get the hot liquid in there so the tops will seal. This one's almost to the point where I can, all right, so it looks full. Now is when you're gonna put the skewer in, kind of bend it back all the way around it, and you're just gonna get all of those air pockets out. And like I said before, once you do that, you're really gonna be able to fit in a lot more liquid. So where it was at the top, it's not now from all of those air pockets getting filled. So I'm gonna be able to add almost a 1/4 cup more. We're gonna very quickly get our paper towel. We're gonna clean off the edge. Oop, lost one. And then we're gonna put the lids on. Like I said, fingertip tight. That means put it on and then turn it a little bit more. You don't have to crank it way far down. The other thing that I'm doing once I wipe it off, put the lid on, tighten it, I'm gonna flip them upside down. That's gonna help the tops seal. Some people will water bath these. A lot of people don't, especially a lot of the like old school canning ladies that I've talked to. Because you're working with vinegar, you really don't, look at that. I was about to make a huge mess. Y'all see that? You don't necessarily have to water bath it. That's kind of up to you. It's up to your preference. I've found that I don't need to water bath these as long as I put the lid on quickly and flip them. They will seal. If y'all heard that beeping, it's because even though I have this thing on here, it's still going everywhere. This is a super messy, super thin liquidy, and it's super sticky. And it's gonna keep beeping at us until I can get this one off and get it cleaned off. Let me get all of these filled up and we will be back to kind of recap everything with you guys. Okay, so that small little double batch is done. Like I said earlier, we have 50 pounds of cucumbers to do. We cut up about half of them and we got 17 big mason jars, full and packed, but that double batch of liquid only did 4 jars. So we still have a lot of work cut out for us this afternoon because we are gonna get this done. Now that these are done though, we're just gonna let them sit upside down. About 10, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, we'll start to hear the fun little ping, ping, ping saying that the lids are sealed, which means that they're good to go in the pantry. They're gonna sit in our pantry for at least 4 weeks until we can bust into these.
Yep.
Sorry, I know you want them sooner. It really takes that long to make a pickle. The juice is good, but the cucumbers don't absorb all of the yummy taste until about 4 weeks. They can stay in the pantry if they last that long for a year. Ours don't normally last that long. We've run out already, so that's why we're having to make them.
We also make another version where it's called a wicked pickle, and it's got a little kick to it. So half of this batch will probably be wicked pickles as well. So we want to wish all a happy Easter and celebrate our Lord and Savior. And if you have any prayer concerns, just leave them in the comments, and we'd love to pray for y'all. Have a wonderful rest of your day.